Hey everyone, welcome to episode 33 of the Anime Girl Profiles Confidential. Yes, this is the 33rd episode. I'm trying to catch up, like I said before, but hey, what are you going to do? Anyway, as you can see down in the title section and of course on the screen, today we're going to talk about a character from DuckTales that premiered at the end of season 2 and became sort of a mainstay throughout the rest of the show. And that is Gandra D. Now, Gandra D was introduced in the season 2 finale, a multi-part finale, Super DuckTales, which of course introduced us to Fenton Crackshell, who would go on to become Gizmo Duck. Now, the reason Gandra D was introduced, if you watch Super DuckTales, and if you haven't, these are spoilers, Gandra D basically is the love interest of Fenton Crackshell. She is. She is the love interest of Fenton in the series. She is the love interest. And she's she's obviously portrayed right off the bat as a sweetheart and all that, this very good, very kind at heart. I think that was always something about Disney or any other animation studio at that time, but mostly Disney. It's like all the very attractive femme fatales were from the on the good side, the protagonist ones, the attractive femme fatale protagonists. They always seem, and maybe it's just me, but it always seemed that they were kind and gentle and sweet. Well, anyway, Gandra D, like I said, is introduced in this multi-part episode. And what's funny about this is Fenton is always pining over her. She knows who Fenton is because they worked at the same job together. She was a receptionist and he was a bean counter. Anyway, Fenton wants to work up the courage to ask her out. So finally, long story short, after he becomes Gizmo Duck and gets the courage to not only finally stand up to his mom, who always seems to not abuse him, but push him around and tell him what to do. And he just finally says, enough's enough. I just went through heck over these past few episodes, well, in the past few days, or whatever you want to call it. I've had enough. I have the courage now to stand up to things like being pushed around and taken advantage of. And he finally just tells his mom, hey, you either clean this, I want this place cleaned up, you out of those curlers, and that's it. And basically the mom starts to develop more of a respect and understanding for Fenton. But getting back to the story, getting back to the story, at the end of it all, he finally does at the same time work up the courage to ask Gandra D out. Now, what surprises him is even though he asks her and he's kind of already prepared for a rejection and everything, what surprises Fenton is she herself actually wanted to go out with him too. So in other words, what he didn't know, because he probably thought in his mind, I'm just a bean counter, nothing more, no one's ever going to take me seriously, He had no idea. Here you had this attractive femme fatale that worked at the same job he did as a secretary, but here she was actually fawning over him in a sense that he didn't know until he finally decided to ask her out. Excuse me for a second. Sorry about that. I had to take care of something there. But anyway, he had no idea she wanted to go out with him as well. So basically, they end up becoming a couple after that. And they have a very unique relationship because what's funny about this is she's one of those characters, I guess you could say you could put her in the Lois Lane category of not knowing that Fenton and Gizmo Duck are one and the same. She has no idea. Now, there is probably an indication down the line, I think, in an episode. I think it's Metal Attraction, I believe. I'm not really sure. Again, I'm not. Again, I'm not really sure about it, but I think, yeah, it's about season three. There's an indication that she may know. She may or may not know at the end of that episode. Now, they don't come out and say that she does know. Okay, so they don't come out and say that she does know, because later on in the following season, there's another episode where she points out that Gizmo Duck is saving Fenton. So apparently she doesn't know, but it kind of gives out the clue that maybe she kind of has an idea, but she may not be letting on. So, but anyway, they have a. Sorry about that. But anyway, like I said, they have a very unique relationship. Because, like I said, she's had her share of adventures with Fenton. I mean, true, she hasn't really played much of a role in a sense. She's mostly at times been like the damsel in distress. But what's funny about that is when we got to the last season, and this was like 3 or 4 episodes before the finale of DuckTales, they did the episode that I just mentioned called "The Duck That Knew Too Much," and basically she shows that she's a very smart and savvy. And what's funny about this is it also shows that she's very, like I said, very smart and savvy, but it also shows that she's a quick learner. And the running joke about that, when she figures out how to run a certain machine, is basically she's taking a class in robotic expert, whatever it is. And basically, what she wanted to take one class, and because it was filled up, she decided she was going to take robotic espionage, or whatever it was called. And basically, because of that, she quickly learned how to, figure out certain robotic controls on machines, and that were used for espionage and all that. So that was the running joke. But again, it was always to me clued in that she knew who Fenton was. And I mean, not who Fenton was, but she knew who he was besides himself. Like, she knew he was Gizmo Duck, but I don't think she ever let on. Now, Disney, I'll give them credit, did a great job of masking that if that was the case. Now, again, her and Fenton's relationship is very unique, and it's touched upon in Metal Attraction, because Fenton is trying to celebrate, I think it's their anniversary or something of the first time they went out, and he's just going overboard and overboard and overboard to the point that he almost ends it with her. That to the point that he's almost close to having her end the relationship. But because she loves him so much, and cares about him so much, she's just tolerant to the point that she's just like, Fenton, just calm it down, just leave me alone for right now. He's like, she doesn't want to break it off with him. It was more along the lines that she just wants a little space. And, Fenton doesn't understand that until the end, when in his Gizmo Duck persona, he hears her kind of say that, mention how Robotica, who was the robotic female in the episode, was going crazy and fawning over Gizmo Duck as much as, Fenton fawns over her, and all she wants him to do is just kind of cut back and not do so much. And, Fenton, when he hears this, as Gizmo Duck, he hears this, he realizes, okay, he finally realizes, okay, maybe I have gone a little overboard, maybe I'll just calm it down or something like that. And And it's through his Gizmo Duck persona that he convinces her to give Fenton one more chance, and it goes from there. Well, like I said, they have a very unique relationship because she can get jealous, she can be heartbroken easily, but in the end, it's like, that she doesn't fight. I mean, I wouldn't say fight, but she doesn't break it off. She doesn't break it off. She's very, very understanding and very forgiving in a sense. I mean, there's an episode where Fenton came up with this bubble gum, and she was the spokesmodel for it, and then it just came back to bite him, and she got humiliated because of that, and almost ended the relationship there until he called her up and apologized, and she forgave him, and all that, and they went back out together. So again, they have a very unique relationship that, and I know I'm saying that a lot here, so I do apologize. But they have that kind of relationship to where you would think someone like her, after just one mishap or two mishaps, would be like, okay, that's enough. We'll just be friends and nothing more, and I'll go out with somebody else. No, she's very forgiving, very loving, and obviously, in her more recent appearance in the crossover of DuckTales and Darkwing Duck called Dangerous Currency, she is a bit of a fighter because she fights back against this blob-like creature or whatever it is that's terrorizing St. Canard and Duckburg, I guess. Well, mostly looks like Duckburg. But she's fighting back, so that's pretty cool. Overall, Gandra Dee's character, she's the kind of character that I guess you want to compare her to someone like a Fondier on Bonkers. She wasn't seen as much, but when she was seen and she was used and utilized, it was a breath of fresh air. It was like, you're giving some time to a you're giving some spotlight and some potential character development to a character that, if you take the time on the character, can develop into something more. Now, we don't know if Gandra Dee is going to show up in the new DuckTales series coming out next year, because we don't know if it's going to run after, how long it's going to run. I'm pretty sure it might go for a few seasons, because everybody's happy to see DuckTales again. But again, we don't know if she'll appear, because if Gizmo Duck does appear, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people are hoping for, then there's a chance she might appear as well. But we don't really know. I mean, I was kind of surprised she never appeared in any of the episodes, or even was referenced in any of the episodes that Gizmo Duck, Fenton, Crackshell crossed over into with Darkwing Duck. But I guess they just felt like it wasn't really necessary. But again, we don't know, like I said, whether or not she's going to appear in the new DuckTales series. If she does, I hope they capitalize on her character very, very much. I hope they do more with her character than they did before, because her character is much needed. There are several studios, ladies and gentlemen, that have taken a character that's only made a few appearances, and when they brought that character back, they have expanded on that character. They've done more with that character. They've made that character kind of the focal point of many episodes. It just worked out in the end. If you want a semi-good example of that, you take a look at the new Woody Woodpecker show that came out back in 99, 2000, 2001 on Fox, and you can now see, I think, on Hulu. You have the character of Winnie Woodpecker, who only appeared maybe several times back in the 50s and the 60s, and the only other time she made any appearances was in books and in merchandise, but never full-on animation until the 1999 series, in which she became a mainstay character. And they did a lot of episodes with her. They really kind of redesigned not just her look, but kind of really, gave her more character. It's kind of like with Lola Bunny. in the Looney Tunes show. A lot of people didn't like the Lola they saw in Space Jam, and some were okay with it. There was no doubt about it. I mean, that's the Lola we kept on. I mean, they added more kind of characteristics to that Space Jam Lola, and she made more appearances. But when they did the Looney Tunes show, it's like it's Lola. This references to the previous Lola here, designed similar, but she's just full out Looney Tune, if you catch my drift. I mean, you take a look at Rabbit's Run, and you can see it there. Um, Overall, though, Gandra D, like I said, is a character that, if she does appear in the new DuckTales series next year, I think they really need to capitalize on and really do more with her. Especially with the fact that I think the one thing they missed the boat out on here, was making her making her a female Gizmo Duck. Hear me out. One of the things that a lot of series do when they introduce a superhero character, whether it's just a character that might appear on occasions or something like that, down the line, if that character becomes popular, like Gizmo Duck did, Fenton's character did, they always take that opportunity to create a female counterpart. And I think they would have done, honestly, I think they missed the opportunity to do that with Gandra D. They could have easily made her a female Gizmo Duck in the series, dedicate an episode to maybe how she would react to being Gizmo Duck. Like they did several episodes to where the costume, the Gizmo Duck outfit, ended up on other characters like Gizmo's mother on Launchpad. When Gizmo's mom shrunk it, it ended up on Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Webby. So to me, I think honestly, they missed the boat on the opportunity to do an episode on Gandra trying out the Gizmo outfit and kind of teasing maybe her becoming a female Gizmo Duck, if you will. So hopefully, if they bring her back along with Fenton in the new series, they capitalize on that. But that's really all I'm going to say on Gandra D from DuckTales. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Jawbreaker, I'd like to hear from you. What are your thoughts on it? Maybe you could do a furry girl profile